Could you afford to lose $49,000? Well, that's the average cost of a cybersecurity breach for a small to medium business in Australia. Yet 50% of these businesses don't think that they're a target. Not only that, 50 to 75% of these businesses aren't prepared. And this is data coming from the federal government. I've spoken to thousands of businesses and I've helped hundreds implement cybersecurity solutions. I'm putting together a free cyber awareness training series so that small to medium businesses can get started with no barriers to entry on their cybersecurity journey. If you're a small to medium business, you're the owner, you're working IT in those departments, this series is going to be for you. You can spread it around. Before we begin, quick disclaimer. This video is really general advice for cybersecurity. It's not intended to solve all your problems. If you stay till the end of the video, got a little surprise for you. It's going to be something nice with a few free tools and bits and pieces like that. So stick around. I'm going to cover what an SMB is, why actually cybersecurity is important for SMBs, before you embark on that journey and start spending lots of money, and how cyber awareness training helps. And then I'm going to go through a few tips on how you can get the most out of this video series. Why cybersecurity actually is important. The Australian Cybersecurity Centre defines an SMB business of 1 to 200 staff. 98% of Australian businesses actually fall into this category. Look, we do need to make some adjustments for the one-man bands and trust user business structure, but still the vast majority of these businesses in Australia are small to medium businesses. The Australian Cybersecurity Centre conducted a study, and what they found was 62% of these businesses had already been victims of a cyber attack in some capacity. A large majority of them understand cybersecurity is important, but their level of understanding was below average. Businesses also have a false sense of security and underestimate the risks. It's not like a prerequisite when you go into business that you need to understand cybersecurity. So that's completely understandable, right? The breach cost for the small to medium businesses is rising, whilst the larger businesses, it's actually declining. So you can see there's a bit of a divergence there. It really indicates that we need to do more to help this segment. These businesses also have a lean IT team, and they may have other people managing their IT infrastructure, also contribute to that false sense of security, right? When you combine this with the pace of how quickly technology moves, tight budgets, post-pandemic inflation, you can understand how these businesses might be more at risk. The awareness training, it's a great starting point. That's what I want to start suggesting from my experience talking to so many of these businesses. Why? I've included this little chart here of the Dunning-Kruger effect. This effect basically is when you don't understand a concept, you have an inflated sense of confidence about that topic. These small to medium businesses, they've got other things to worry about. They're not quite focused on cybersecurity risks, right? But that's dangerous because then it does give you that false sense of, you're blissfully unaware of what can happen. And we're kind of seeing this through the data now. Awareness training is a great starting point because it can move you along this continuum so that when you do make technology and business decisions, you can make them in a more informed way, right? You can understand your weak points. So education really has that effect. And that's really why I'm creating this series. And when we consider those previous stats we mentioned before, most of them don't know where to start. So they understand it's important, but they don't really know where to start. Some have a false sense of security. I would suggest most of the small to medium businesses actually lie in that first little part of the Dunning-Kruger table. Not only that, once you combine that with some phishing simulation training, kind of humbling. Most people will click on a phishing email if it's well targeted, including your senior leadership team, all that. On top of this, multiple IBM studies highlight that cyber awareness training, it'll reduce the breach cost significantly. If you are going to spend money in the early days, cyber awareness training has multiple reasons to benefit your business. So not only are you going to be able to identify threats faster, you'll be able to make informed business decisions as the business grows and progresses so that you're not falling behind in terms of technology. At the end of the day, cyber criminals are predators and they'll go for easy targets. Let's highlight the top 3 self-reported crimes for small, medium, and large businesses. The 3 of these relate quite closely to email. You've got number 1, 20%, which is email compromise, resulting in no financial loss. The loss associated with this would be more data, potentially a compromised account, so the username, password. Our recommendations include staff training, MFA, passwords, email content filtering. Online banking fraud, gain access to a bank account, or potentially they're trying to divert a payment to themselves, posing as potentially one of your customers. The awareness component's critical because someone's probably going to send you an email that looks legitimate, but if you look closely to it, understand that it's not legitimate at all. The text messages, somebody else might be trying to access your bank account, and then they actually try to get you to give them the multi-factor authentication code, authenticating you to your account. They might try to actually get that from you. This can happen over the phone as well. Somebody might call you posing to be the bank, etc. So you need to be careful for really these social types of threats. Business email compromise resulting in fraud or financial loss. This would be similar to the two we've mentioned, but more severe. Again, the MFA component is quite critical here. Also protecting your domain names. I've heard a lot from people saying that they received emails that looked like one of their suppliers, maybe someone they do business with, even themselves, right? So somebody can go register a domain that looks like yours. It's good to understand and be proactive about, hey, are there any similar domains that maybe we should purchase? There are free tools as well that I'll share that you can actually check. There are other domains that look like yours that are being used. On the left-hand side, some general recommendations for where to start. So if you're not doing anything, you haven't considered cybersecurity, this is a really good starting point. And this is stuff you can mostly do on your own and it won't cost you any money. The link below that image is where you'll find that document. And it includes securing accounts, preparing staff, protecting your devices and information. Once you start with that stuff on the left-hand side, some good frameworks you can follow and take it to the next step, the Australian Essential 8 framework. So this comes from the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, and that's broken up into levels. So you start at one level and you work your way up. Then the US produced a good framework called the NIST framework, and they've got one specifically for small to medium businesses. The link's under there for that one as well. In terms of getting the most out of this series, some of the modules are going to be more specific for different types of staff, leadership teams, potentially all staff. We'll try to make a note of that as we progress. Share the content. So share it around your organization, share it with partners. If your partner gets done, it might limit your business relationship. Refresh regularly. If new people start, you should get them having a look at the content, etc. Use the cheat sheets. We're going to produce some cheat sheets based on each video that you can use as a reference point. Run some phishing simulations. This isn't included in this video, but it's definitely worth considering. Track your progress. So see how people are going, ingesting this content, get their feedback, see what they say, get in touch if you do need a hand. In terms of what we're going to be doing next, some of the common threats in 2024, common threats, generally speaking, for small to medium businesses, emerging technology risks. Now we've got the AI agents coming in, and then we'll see if we can look at some mitigation strategies for those up and coming threats to keep front of mind. I'll see you next time. Please feel free to download the cheat sheet. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, share it around, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. It helps with the algorithm. So until then, see you next time.